This is TradeFlow News, bringing you relevant news and insights from around the world. TradeFlow News, enabling trade for SMEs and economies worldwide.
These are some of the key topics that we will be looking into in today's program.
First, let's take a look at the overnight headlines which are impacting the commodity markets.
Oil prices extended gains on Monday as investors assessed the impact of Ukrainian drone attacks on Russian refineries that could disrupt its crude and fuel exports, while also eyeing U.S. fuel demand growth. Brent crude futures rose 47 cents, or 0.7%, to $67.46 a barrel by 0622 GMT, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude was at $63.17 a barrel, up 48 cents, or 0.8%. Both contracts gained more than 1% last week as Ukraine stepped up attacks on Russian oil infrastructure, including the largest oil exporting terminal, Primorsk, and the Kirish-Neftekhimov refinery, one of the two largest refineries in Russia.
Ukraine will restrict imports of diesel fuel originating in India, which purchases a significant portion of its crude oil from Russia, starting October 1, Ukrainian energy consultancy Encor said on Monday. Another consultancy, A95, said earlier this month that the loss of a key Ukrainian oil refinery this summer had forced traders to compensate with imports, purchasing diesel fuel from India. Even the Ukrainian Defense Ministry has bought some Indian fuel as it met post-Soviet standards. Russia has been attacking Ukrainian oil refineries and fuel storage facilities with drones and missiles.
Moving on to the top news in the energy sector.
Marine bunker fuel sales in Singapore maintained strong momentum in August, holding at their highest levels since December 2023, according to official data released on Monday. Sales at the world's top vessel refueling hub totaled 4.97 million metric tons in August, up 1% month-on-month and 8.9% year-on-year, based on data from the Maritime and Port Authority of Singapore. Volumes for the mainstay 0.5% low-sulfur fuel oil grade were up 5.4% from July, with some bunker suppliers reporting better demand in August.
China on Monday said it firmly opposed the United States calling on the G7 and NATO countries to impose secondary tariffs over purchases of Russian oil, pledging to take measures to safeguard its rights and interests. The Chinese Commerce Ministry urged the U.S. to be prudent in words and deeds, and to solve differences through equal dialogue. Next, we have the top news in metal markets. Gold demand in India this festive season is expected to be weaker than last year, as record high prices are likely to curb jewelry purchases, outweighing modest gains in investment demand. Weaker demand in the world's second-largest gold consumer could limit a rally in global prices which hit a record high last week. But sluggish demand for gold imports could limit India's trade deficit and support the rupee. Local gold prices, which scaled a record peak of 109,840 rupees per 10 grams last week, have risen 42% year-to-date, after gaining 21% in 2024.
Prices of iron ore futures ended lower on Monday, pressured by persistent weakness in top consumer China's property sector, even as steel benchmarks and steelmaking ingredients posted gains. The most traded January iron ore contract on China's Dalian Commodity Exchange dropped 0.31% to 796 yuan, $111.75, a metric ton. China's new home prices fell by 0.3% in August, compared with the previous month, continuing a downward trend that began in May 2023 and highlighting weakness in housing market demand.
We will now look at the top news in the agricultural sector.
India's palm oil imports jumped in August to their highest level in more than a year, as competitive pricing relative to soy oil prompted refiners to step up purchases ahead of the festive season, a leading trade body said on Monday. Higher palm oil imports by India, the world's largest buyer of vegetable oils, are expected to help top producers Indonesia and Malaysia reduce inventories and support benchmark Malaysian palm oil futures. India's palm oil imports in August rose 15.76% to 990,528 metric tons, reaching their highest point since July 2024, the Solvent Extractors Association of India said. That is all for today's news on commodity markets. Stay tuned to TradeFlow News as we continue to provide you with more updates. We also invite you to follow us on Twitter at TradeFlow News, which allows you to watch our program on your mobile device or desktop to receive information from there.